In another hospital, Brian Martin held his mistress' hand. Claire was crying in bed, assuming her situation had gotten worse. "Brian, I might lose our baby. Your wife, she tried to kill our baby." Claire's tear-streaked face bore a look of anguish as she said, "I should have just left the city and raised this baby on my own. I'd rather my baby live a peaceful life than be hated by your wife," Claire added. "Why did you have to make me a mistress, Brian?" "Why? I'm sorry, Claire. This was my fault." Brian embraced Claire tightly. He stayed by her side until she cried herself to sleep. Seconds turned into minutes, and Brian continued to stroke her back until he lay her flat on the bed. Brian wiped the tear stains on his lover's face, feeling helpless. He thought back to the time when he first met Claire. A few months ago, Brian had a business meeting with a VIP client named Mr. Leopard in a high-end KTV bar. They rented a private room, and Claire walked in as the main food attendant. Immediately, Brian was smitten by her beauty. She had the face of an angel, with big blue eyes, an amiable smile, and light brown hair. Of course, at 20 years old, she had that smoking hot, slender body. Mr. Leopard tried to make a pass at her, but Brian interfered. That was how it all began. Brian lost a client, but he gained a young lover. Despite being 7 years older than Claire, Brian captured her heart. After all, he was a good-looking man with blue eyes, a well-built physique, and dark blonde hair. When Brian secretly pursued Claire, he lied about his marital status. At first, Brian thought it was merely an infatuation. He took Claire on a few dates, but after their first intimate night, he became obsessed with her. The more time Brian spent with Claire, making love to her, the deeper his love for her grew. To Brian, Claire and his child were innocent. Thus, he couldn't accept what Riley had done. He knew he was to blame for all of this, but still, it was wrong for Riley to hurt an unborn child. "It isn't your fault, son. You have been married for 4 years, but Riley could not give you a child. Your meeting with Claire was fate," Beatrice, his mother, suggested. "Now we just need to do everything we can to save your child. When we get through this, we will make sure Riley no longer has any connection with us or your company." Beatrice had been standing behind Brian the whole time. She had arrived at the hospital an hour ago to see Claire's condition. After consoling Brian, she said, "Son, why don't we ask for Zia's help?" At the mention of Zia, Brian nodded. His distant cousin, Zia Martin, was one of the best new gynecologists in town. She was so good that the King's Medical Center had absorbed her since her residency. Moments later, Brian stepped out of Claire's room. He was about to call Zia when Riley's number came up first on his mobile screen. His brows drew together, and he could not help but be angered. He called Riley first and gave her a piece of his mind. "What do you want, Bree?" Riley's words were cut off. "Are you happy now, Riley? My child is in danger. Is this your form of revenge?" Brian said, "Because of what you did, I have fully decided to erase you from my heart. Even if Claire has a miscarriage, I will still marry her, and we will have another child." "Children," Brian repeated. "It's something you will never have the privilege of experiencing, but Claire and I will. We will have many." "You have no idea what you are talking about, Brian. If you only knew what I have been through," Riley said. I know. I cheated on you and hurt you. But it's nothing compared to what you have done, Riley. You tried to hurt a pregnant woman. You knew very well that Claire was innocent in all of this." Brian pointed out. He could hear Riley breathing deeply on the other line. She tried to reason. "You just... Enough. I don't want to hear it," Brian yelled before ending the call. He released all his anger in one corner of the hospital hallway, before finally calling his cousin. As soon as Zia answered, he asked, "Zia, I need your help. You might already know that. There's a woman who is pregnant with your child, and she is not your wife," Zia finished for him. "Zia," Brian said angrily, "don't speak that way to the mother of my child. I love her. Claire is pregnant, and I will take responsibility. Riley and I are getting a divorce." "Do you even know what's going on with Riley, Brian?" Zia asked. "I don't care about Riley right now. I only care about my child," Brian snapped. "Zia, I don't have a lot of time. I need your help. I might lose my child." Riley pushed her. "Can you please see my girlfriend?" "First of all, Brian, I can't treat anyone outside the King's Medical Center. I have a contract, Zia replied. Second, you actually believe your mistress? Brian gasped. As much as he wanted to bring Claire to the King's Medical Center, he couldn't. He had a beef with Adrian King, one of the hospital's owners. Moreover, it was farther away compared to the one Claire was currently admitted to. Zia, I saw everything with my own eyes. Riley pushed Claire. Brian insisted. Please, Zia. Help me. You saw it? Are you sure? Zia asked. Before Brian could respond, his phone died. Fuck. Back at the King's Medical Center, Adrian King's assistant had arrived to fetch him. Adrian was about to leave when he overheard Zia's conversation with Brian Martin. Brian's name made Adrian's blood boil, and his hands clenched into fists as he stared at Zia's back. He coldly asked, what did he want? Zia abruptly turned to him, nearly dropping her phone. Goodness, Mr. King. You startled me, she gasped, then continued. It's my cousin. He wants me to treat his mistress. He said that he might lose his baby. Go to him, Adrian instructed. Zia's mouth fell on the floor. She cleared her throat and clarified. What did you just say? Go to wherever he is and help treat his woman, Adrian replied. You must do everything in your capability to save the child. Do you understand me? I give you permission. What? Why? Zia asked in frustration. Adrian could tell Zia was completely bemused, but he wasn't about to tell her. He took a deep breath, concealed all of his emotions, and lazily replied. There is a reason for everything I do. Endorse Riley's care to Dr. Hernandez and go to Brian first thing in the morning. Remember, you must save the child's life. Make sure that Riley gets everything she needs, Adrian added. I'll be back to see her tomorrow afternoon. Because Zia was still standing there in utter shock, Adrian strengthened his voice. Zia? Dr. Martin? Am I clear? Yes, Mr. King, Zia acknowledged before bowing in his presence. While Adrian controlled his wheelchair, moving toward the lift, his assistant followed behind him. He heard Zia say, Mr. King? Adrian, can I just say you are one strange man? Adrian stopped his wheelchair, and his assistant halted with him. His expression was nonchalant as he glanced sideways and said, I'm not strange. He gulped and decided to keep his thoughts to himself. Instead, he reminded the doctor, remember what I said, Zia.